Evening, but now I'd like to hand over to the President of the EComs Society, Justin Bloomfield. Thank you, Justin.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Justin Bloomfield. I'm the President of the Economics and Commerce Student Society, or EComs for short. I'd just like to quickly take this opportunity to thank the UWA Business School and the Mannkal Economic Education Foundation for the opportunity to get up and speak tonight and to get involved with the celebration of the life of Milton Friedman, who we can all agree was by far and away one of the most influential economic thinkers of the last century. EComs is a student group based in the business school, and we have three core functions for our students. Firstly, educational representation. We sit on the business schools, as the business schools faculty society, we sit on the Guild's Education Council, as well as the business schools faculty board and teaching and learning committee. It's our _1 priority to directly represent the needs of our students to the rest of the university and aid them in situations where they may feel misrepresented. The second one is career transition. EComs hosts a number of highly successful business networking events throughout the year, which are catered to help provide an interface between our students and the HR staff that are eventually going to recruit them into their dream jobs. For example, this year EComs hosted a corporate breakfast event where we invited Dr. Fiona Wood to come down and speak to about 100 business students about their futures in the workforce. And our third core function is social enrichment within the university. It's obviously important for our students to let their hair down once in a while, and we provide opportunities for them to do that, most notably the annual Ernst & Young EComs Ball, which is the largest student ball in the Southern Hemisphere. I sincerely hope that you all enjoy tonight's screening, as well as the refreshments afterwards, which we've put on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Justin. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ron Manners from Mannkal. And Ron has more than 50 years' experience as a leader in the resources and property industries in Australia. He's executive chairman of the Man West Group that provides consulting services to the mining industry. He was the founder and chairman of Croesus, a successful gold mining company that produced over 1 million ounces of gold, and he was the founding chairman of De Grey Mining. He's emeritus chairman and an inductee of the Australian Mining Hall of Fame, and in 2005 he was inducted as a mining legend of the Excellence in Mining and Exploration Conference. And recently Ron was appointed to the board of the overseers of the Atlas Economic Research Foundation in Washington, and he's now serving as chairman of Mannkal Economic Education Foundation. He's a long-standing supporter of the business school at UWA, and please welcome Ron.
So, it's the tradition of the Mannkal Foundation, actually on occasions like this, to acknowledge the intellectual genius of those who've created the mechanism for our civil society. That's the economic and legal structures without which our peaceful and prosperous society would not be possible. Now, among such people must be Professor Milton Friedman. Let me mention also that Professor Friedman always gave full credit to his economist wife, Rose, who jokingly claimed half of Milton's 1976 Nobel Prize when it was awarded. Now, with parents like Milton and Rose, no wonder their son David is also a world-class economist. And David's son, again, Patry, continues the tradition of proposing radical solutions that benefit the human race. Now, Milton Friedman changed the world by using relentless and polite persuasion to bring about things like this. The floating exchange rates, which were really unknown in those days in the 60s and 70s. He managed to abolish wage and price controls in the US. He managed to get legalised the private ownership of gold, which wasn't legal in Australia either. It's hard to imagine not being able to own gold, but he was one of the pioneers that put the reasoning behind why it should be legal for us to protect ourselves from government-created money. He led to dramatic tax reductions, and he led to the end of the military conscription, which is a remarkable story behind that. And his 1957 theory of the consumption function fundamentally undermined Keynesianism. Now, Friedman's economics actually worked because he himself had worked. He rejected ideas that worked in smart men's heads but failed in working man's lives. Author Daniel Flynn said fellow economists laughed at him before the 1960s and 1970s laughed back at them. He debated adversaries with unfailing patience and graciousness. It was often said that economists liked to debate with Milton, particularly when he was not there. My favourite two Milton Friedman books are Capitalism and Freedom, in which it contains all the theories that Friedman stressed during his career as a public intellectual. It emphasised the inseparable link between economic and political freedom. And the other book is Free to Choose, the book that accompanied the 10-part TV series of the same name. That reminds me of what Queen Elizabeth said to him, talking about that TV series. Queen Elizabeth said to him as the Friedmans boarded the Royal Yacht Britannia in San Francisco Bay, the Queen said, "I know you. Philip is always watching you on TV." Now, he was well known, of course. A year before Friedman died, Stephen Moore from the Wall Street Journal asked him, "What can we do to make America more prosperous?" 3 things, he replied instantly: promote free trade, school choice for all children, and cut government spending. And Moore said, "But how much would you cut government spending?" And his answer was, "As much as possible." Friedman visited Australia 4 times, and that could be the topic for another evening, and his comments that he made on our various prime ministers at the time. That's a different part of history. But tonight's DVD compilation will only give you a brief glimpse of the range and scope of this man's influence. It's had all sorts of side effects. For instance, I may never have met Professor Ken Clements without the Milton Friedman link. So you never know. Thank you. So I'll hand over to the DVD so that Milton can tell his own story.